are Changebringers raining fire in patch 6.3.4. That's kind of what they do, yes. Now, let me be perfectly clear. They have been basically fantastic since their launch. The better question was whether Flamers were performing decently compared to give you a reason to bring any Flamers, ever, when Changebringers exist. I've established Flamers are performing decently. Changebringers are still phenomenal, so let's go into how. Recruit for 1500 gold equivalent and 375 upkeep. On Ultra, you get 12 large entities with 3216 health between them. The unit, 500 barrier hit points. Armor is 10, physical resistance 20%, leadership 60. These figures should sound familiar. Speed 95 and charge speed 105 reflect the snazzy flying rides. Melee attack begins at 28, magical attack, flaming attack, and inflicts warp flame. Attack interval still 4, melee splash target remains medium, max targets still 4. Melee defense of 12, weapon strength 46, split base 12, and armor piercing 34 are similarly unchanged. Charge bonus 25 is a good bit higher, mass is 1000. The missile specs are basically 100% the same, but ammunition starts at 10, 2 less than Flamers on foot. Traits are unchanged aside from flying and Strider. They can move and fight unhindered in forest. In the Redline skills, for mainline Tzeentch, 3 pips of many-colored fires gives range plus 10% and missile strength plus 8%. As for incendiary assault for rank 7 and up, actually... Okay, mid-script I'm seeing I'm not as blind as I felt I was. In prior versions of the game, this indeed increased weapon strength, but at time of recording, it really is leadership plus 6, missile strength plus 12%, and spell resistance plus 15%. Woo, I don't completely suck. I still fail to realize my old snip was outdated, so that's on me. For Mortal Chaos, Warp Fire at 3 pips grants speed plus 6%, melee defense plus 8, which is interesting, and missile strength plus 12%, very important. At rank 7, Malevolent Ranger gives armor plus 10, reload time reduction 10%, and missile resistance 15%. In the tech tree, for main Tzeentch, Warp Flame Formula gives upkeep minus 9% and missile strength plus 9%. Upkeep is a big killer here, so you want it beaten down. So how do we use the Changebringers? I want to rush to this part because seeing is believing, more focus on what you see is important here, and it's all about the angles. As discussed in the Flamer video, there is no multi-target penetration, so the flames will explode as soon as they hit a target or hit the ground. The Changebringers inherently make full use of the lower calibration area, and moreover, if they're practically on top of a target, they're well within the calibration distance limit. So, the Changebringers are comparatively better at burning down single entities, even foot characters, though preferably some kind of monster. The Flamers do not stream fire through entities, but just as a rolling stone gathers no moss, a dead entity obstructs no flames. Since in a game mechanics sense, the flames are being machine-gunned out, as entities in a unit die, other flames will go further and further out until they hit something or reach maximum range. Therefore, on the whole, the Flamers are indeed better for sweeping lines from the side. The math simply works on your side a little better for that. You're probably going to hit something and get a good result. The true value of the Changebringers isn't so much the level of damage they can inflict, which is more than respectable. It is when and where that damage comes out. Unless completely overwhelmed by ranged fire, Changebringers can fly out and largely erase from existence a heavy cavalry unit. They can devastate elite infantry. If you can't do that early, you can do it in the middle of a fight. The speed is so high, you have options that simply never existed before. Even the melee is far more viable just from being able to pick your fights. So, Changebringers have a lot going for them. That speed gives them a real shot at replenishing the barrier hit points, and eventually they will run dry. But you hope you've done lots of damage in the process. You always have the option of trying a few attacks and pulling them back to await a better situation. In addition to that, this is my overall message. The angle of fire means that moving them behind enemy units engaged with your lines has a much reduced risk of friendly fire than otherwise, so they can do even more damage to the enemy with even less damage to your engaged forces. Moreover, the fact you are firing into a melee fight means all the morale flipping in your direction helps you turn that fight even faster. It's not simply what you can do in isolation. It's what you can do in the context of a strong Tzeentch total push. Past that, it's all about magical support, fighting in Tzeentch corruption-heavy provinces for extra ammo, and so on, but like with education, always remember the fundamentals. Take care and have fun calling down fire from the heavens, just in extra colors. It's inherently awesome.